So Jermaine Dupri has been in the news. He had some interesting comments about female rappers, female MCs.
He did.
He was being interviewed by People magazine, and they asked him who his favorite female MCs were. So he had a couple comments, but a couple that stuck out to me was he said, I feel like they're all rapping about the same thing. He said it's like strippers, like a lot of strippers that are rappers. And he also said, I don't think they're showing us who the best rapper is. So in a nutshell, he says all the popular rappers are just rapping about stripping and not really showing skills. So the internet was on 10 about this comment. I think he answered the question, like anyone else would. That's his opinion. But I saw a lot of people getting at JD like, oh, man, he old.
Nah.
Oh, man, he is out of touch. Oh, man, he's this and that. I'm like, okay.
The little bad baby biatch.
Yeah, like she was in her bag, called him grandpa and all this. I'm like, this is so hip-hop culture.
She doesn't have a voice, but keep going.
Facts. This is so hip-hop culture just to dismiss anybody that's old. I'm like, JD has sold millions and millions of records. What are you talking about? Like, why would you not at least respect his opinion? I don't know. To that, you say what? Longevity.
Respect is earned?
JD's definitely earned the right to say that.
Okay. Well, he also comes out and he calls all female rappers strippers?
Maybe it was in relation to the mainstream. Is he lying?
Did he say that? Did he say that,
Cardi
though?
B.
Did he say that?
No.
No, he didn't say that, but I don't know.
So
that's the way I took it. The mainstream.
The way that I view it is he's in a position of power of hip hop because of his influence.
No question.
So when he comes out and he says something along the lines of all female rappers are strippers, it's not a good look.
I mean, hey, I was able to me, in my opinion, again, like I said, I thought he was talking about the mainstream. That's where I took it.
I'm sure he was. I'm sure he was.
He needed to specify.
I'm sure he was.
Maybe, that's fair.
I guess that's my point. He should have
specified.
He should have specified better. You know.
Jump in, Jay Diff.
To Lon's point, he should have specified it. But I think the problem was when they asked him the question of who he thinks is best, he should have answered that as well.
Okay.
Rather than jumping into all the rappers are strippers. And he has a point.
That's what I'm saying.
As far as the mainstream rappers being strippers
Mm-hmm.
in today's day and age, because when you talk about all the women that are on top of the charts right now, you have the City Girls, you have Cardi B, you have I don't think Meg Thee Stallion. She's not a stripper, but she has a stripper style.
Yep.
But it's not anything new to hip hop. I mean, Eve was a stripper. She didn't rap about stripping, but she was a stripper.
I think that's the difference, though. Like, I think there was more of a variation in Eve's content, Foxy Brown's content, versus.
But it was overly when you talk about Foxy Brown and Lil' Kim, whether they were strippers or not, it was definitely sexualized.
100%.
Energy on those tracks.
But when I listen to their projects, I'm looking at it like I didn't get the feel that those were heavily sexually influenced top to bottom. Those projects, like when I hear Foxy Brown,
yes, Foxy's not.
When I hear
much.
Foxy Brown rapping on The Firm, I'm like, there's nothing sexy about that. She just bodying and jumping in the pocket with Nas and the rest of them.
Did they write all their own lyrics for that
Little
stuff?
Kim? Definitely not. They're reference
I
tracks.
think Foxy wrote her joints though. If I'm not mistaken.
There are reference tracks out there with Biggie rapping Lil' Kim's lyrics. So
if she wrote the joint for The Firm with the numbers and how she break that down, like that was super impressive, my opinion. Go ahead, Spoolz. I'm sorry.
Oh no, I was just curious about that.
About the writing.
So yeah, but no, I mean, I guess I don't know. It just seemed like kind of an over general comment to make. And I don't know.
It's kind of spiteful, even.
It is. It's shitty because
that's where I was gonna go.
Like plenty of good female MCs out there. So
nobody ever mentions Rhapsody though.
Yeah.
Shout out to Cardi B though. She actually ran off a name of, dope female MCs and talked about how, and I'm paraphrasing here, but it's not what people want. Like people are responding to the stuff that we do, and there's plenty of women that are out here that are actually cold, which is true. But she did mention Rhapsody as one of those young ladies, and Rhapsody actually was being interviewed and gave her P's. She also mentioned that Cardi she's mentioned her multiple times. So that's dope from a standpoint of Cardi being able to use her platform to show people love. It's not the first time that she's done that, so I give her P's for that. But we all know how dope Rhapsody is. Layla's Wisdom, to me, was incredible. Very good album. You know what I'm saying? She got the nod for the Grammys, but
Yeah, unfortunately, she came out the same year as Kendrick. So.
Right.
You know, this is the thing. Because I think a part of this comes from the fact that for whatever reason, a lot of people just don't like Jermaine Dupri.
Yeah.
Like
That's a fact.
Because the thing is, when he starts running down his resume, you're like, oh yeah, because he started talking about. Remember when that Source Awards where he was like, Atlanta's got something to say.
Yeah.
Not when Outkast said that.
Yep.
He's like, I just got off stage with the Brat when they said that. Like
repping Atlanta.
You know, like I had sold probably about 8 million records out of Atlanta up to
Brat's
that
from
point.
Chicago, though.
Yeah. But as far as like
They
crisscross,
said
and
the South got something to say.
the South got something
Yeah.
to say, which is true. But you know, so if you guys say that,
He's looking at it like we still were repping the South with me.
but
on
if you're
the
gonna,
stage
but
with
if
the
you're gonna
Brat.
say
the
that,
Brat's from
the Ghetto
Chicago.
Boys had been
mean-
repping the South.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's true.
there's just people that don't like Jermaine Dupri because, like I said, I've referenced this before about when he was in the studio and the young lady was playing him some music and she asked for an honest opinion. He said it sounds like stripper fight rap. I think a lot of people don't remember that, and I think that's what he's referencing. I'm not going to put words in his mouth, but the thing is, I'm in the mainstream clubs, if you will. You know, I know everybody. A lot of
That's
people
a
who
fact.
listen know me at Coaches, but I'm out on Friday, Saturday, and Thursday nights in these spots where a lot of these records get played.
Yep.
You know, and just to play devil's advocate for people who may not be familiar, because I think a lot of our audience is much more familiar with a Rhapsody because, you know, for whatever you have to say, we've championed her. We've probably talked about Rhapsody more than we've
Super
talked about
cold.
any of these other women
Super
combined.
cold.
But, you know, if you look at the video for City Girls Twerk, then you look at the video for Big Old Freak by Megan Thee Stallion or Freak Nasty or for Cardi's Money, if you don't know what you're looking at, if you don't hear the words, you really his you know, like I said, you sometimes you just play devil's advocate and understand where he could be coming from when he made this statement. You know, that could be where he's coming from. Like I would challenge the people who listen, like go on YouTube and check it out.
It's his opinion. It's just I think it was poorly stated.
You know,
to your
so
point.
and he's a part of that mainstream. So he's probably referencing, you know, those artists, or maybe Nicki Minaj when you look at, you know, for her what was the song Anaconda.
Yeah.
You know, so
I mean, we know what that is.
let's
though.
just
Like,
keep it
that's,
real.
It's cutting the same
There's
vein.
a stripper vibe to that, but just like, you know, I'm, you know, being a dude from the 90s, I remember there was a time everybody was standing on rooftops and running from the police. That was every video on Rap City. So let's not act like there's just been this.
I don't think there's anything wrong.
variation.
My thing is this, and everybody's saying, you know, in general, there's something wrong with this style of music, this stripper music. There's nothing wrong with it.
No.
No,
They you know, like
they can rap about what they want.
Exactly. And,
Yeah.
you know, there is a double standard when we talk about how women are sexualized in hip hop in general. It's just what it is. You
Whether
really
it's from
send him a
them
note.
or from the-
You send him a note.
100%. We gotta keep this thing moving.
Like we
gotta
don't
keep
have
this thing
cameras
moving.
on. That's
Yeah,
fine.
we
That
gotta
was
keep this
part
thing
of the
moving.
scheme.
Get him an opener since you gonna snitch and tell everybody what's going on.
I just thought it was hilarious that you did that.
Red August, I'm trying to keep the flow going, but if Long gonna snitch, that's cool. I was looking for a beverage, but go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh man, no, I was gonna say like it's overly. Would this be a topic if men were doing the same thing?
You can actually criticize men in terms of the concept of rapping about the same thing. It's easy to be like, yo, everybody raps about drug dealing, coke, blah, blah, blah. You can use the same concept.
This is the thing, though. It was an issue at one point in time.
Okay.
But it wasn't from people that were involved in hip hop per se. It was from more the politicians.
See the Lord's Tuckers. and the-
Yeah,
you know.
those type people were criticizing the content of rap back
See,
then.
the Lord's
So
Tucker,
when you
a
have
motherfucker.
when you
Shout out
have
to
somebody
Tupac.
that's actually in part of hip hop and goes back and criticizes it, it's kind of
Kato's
like
MVP.
calling a, if you don't shut up.
He is. Hold on, you ain't get
He's
mad
making a
with-
point. You talking
You
about
talking
getting a
about-
beer?
Kato's the MVP. I'm sorry.
Because he
Go
handed
ahead,
you a
brother.
beer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead, Terry. I
The
appreciate it.
disrespect.
Yeah.
Disrespect.
Way
The
worse
disrespect.
Way worse than the way that I interrupted you last week.
He did it like 3 times.
Can we
in
do
row.
a
I
flat?
let him slide.
Can we do a
haven't said
flashback
shit.
for that? I'm sorry, Terry. Go ahead.
I didn't lost my thought now.
No, you didn't. Don't
I
lose
kinda
it.
did.
Well, go ahead. Of you.
I'm trying to kind of gather it.
Go ahead, man.
Kato, you the MVP for that though. God damn.
Well, no, and even when
It's
I
black
tell
on black violence,
when I
man.
tell people to reference those videos, like I said, please do it not at work. I remember when the twerk video came out, and like there were people who wanted to be critical of that. But when you watch that video, it is a bunch of women on a yacht on a beach dancing. But you know what? They're not under the guise of other men. These are women owning their own agency and their own sexuality. It's not. Think about the Big Pimpin' video, where it's a bunch of women who are dancing on a yacht for the gratification of men who are fully clothed, pouring champagne on them and whatnot. So
That was deep right there.
I just think when because like I said, I without the sound and people not paying close attention, yes, people might want to put that stripper vibe on those particular songs.
For sure.
But if you also want to give women the credit they deserve for owning their own sexuality and having the agency to do the things that they want to do without saying, thinking that, okay, a man told me to put on this outfit, a man told me, to go ahead and shake my ass. I came up with this, and when if it was going to go too far, I would have said no. Sometimes we have to give women more credit than we're giving them.
Trina came
Absolutely.
out. Trina came out and actually, championed what was going on. She's like, the city girls remind me of me. Like they coming up from when I came out, and I initially came down, and I could see her draw that parallel. It makes sense to me. But she's like, these girls are rapping about them, the lifestyle that they're living as they're going on tour. They're going to these clubs. They're going to locations. It's like it's reflective of the lifestyle that they're living now as artists. Like she was really going in about, this is how they're living. This is what they're talking about. It's a direct reflection of their lifestyle. And she's like, there's nothing wrong with it. And I get that. I'm not mad at that because Trina was the exact same way. History repeats itself.
Well,
she was the exact same way when she came out with Trick
Well,
Daddy.
also when we're talking about a lot of these, they're new artists, the Cash Doll, all these women, they're on maybe their first or second project. This is the problem I do feel like what we have with women in hip hop, and we've talked about this a little before, is we don't allow women to grow up at all. Like whoever you are when we meet you, that's who we expect you to be going forward. If you don't want to adhere to that, you wind up doing something else, like a Queen Latifah, like MC Lyte, who's been acting and doing voiceovers. Eve, there are people who don't even know Eve is a rapper. They know her as a
Facts.
talk show host.
MC
Facts.
Lyte still raps.
She
If I'm not
does.
mistaken. I
She
saw
does.
her at
She does.
a Black Expo event.
I don't know
It
about
was,
she-
it was some years ago,
but she's
she
doing-
killed, and she killed that shit.
But
too.
she's doing
Heavy in the voiceovers,
her
though.
original material. You know what I'm saying? Like she's not doing new material. So that's one of the things because the thing is, Jay-Z gets to grow up. He gets to be the former drug dealer from Brooklyn who now talks about art.
Yep.
Common was the Southside knucklehead, and now he gets to be an ambassador for so many things. Nas is, even though I think Nas was well ahead of his years when he put out Illmatic, he's still been able to grow up and be a man in hip hop. Unfortunately, Salt and Pepper, I love them, but like they're still doing Shoop and Push It.
Salt and
Nobody
Pepper on a
wants to
reality
hear
show, right?
VH1 wants to know any of their new music. And even with Nicki Minaj, who I think is a talented artist, she hasn't really made a progression in the 10 years that we've known her. And I think that's a lot that has to do with the male perspective and what we'll accept and what her original fans want to hear from her. Like if she wanted to do this serious album and not do a lot of ass shaking, would she still get? Well, it's not really working for her now because her records are ice cold. But
Who is that now?
Nicki Minaj.
Nicki
Oh,
Minaj,
I'm in the club. Her records don't like her. I've seen people that Megatron record. I've been seeing people walk off the stage or off the
That's
dance
tough.
floor. But that's what I'm saying. I mean, like, I would love for there to be those female artists who could be in a space like a J. Cole or a Kendrick, and still get even though I feel like that's what Rhapsody is, but we don't. We recognize Rhapsody, but
she's the epitome of what you're talking about. But she's not going to get that.
I've never heard Rhapsody on, your mainstream hip hop station.
It's kind of like back in the day. You never really heard Bahamadia,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that. You know what I'm saying? She was heavy back then.
Yeah.
Lauryn Hill had her run, but
it was
she
more
kind
an
of
R&B run.
right.
She just was able to be an incredible rapper while doing both. Like,
Right.
That she's rare though. Like Lauryn Hill don't come around that often.
But
Somebody that can
after
sing
that,
well.
who was in those shoes?
And that depends
Lauryn
on
Hill
what you
didn't even-
like.
Lauryn Hill
That's
didn't even
true.
make another album.
Depends on
Because
what
there
you
was
like.
also an artist by the name of Boss who was more on the gangster rap tip, and she had a nice album, but
Yeah.
it came out that somebody else was writing her verses for her.
There you go.
So that's what kind of took her out. I don't know if y'all are familiar with Boss.
I've
Yeah.
heard the
I'm not.
name. I'm not
Deeper.
gonna front and say I heard the album.
She had a song
Yeah.
Deeper.
Yeah.
My
And then
sister's a
Sugar
bitch
T
with
was
AMG. Yeah.
Cool.
I fool with Sugar T.
She was dope.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I
I
fool
lo-
with Sugar T.
I loved Lady
Mia
of
X was
Rage.
dope, dude.
Yeah.
Mia
Mia
X
X was
could rap.
nice.
She's one of the dopest people.
Lady of
in
Rage
No
was
Limit.
dope, too.
I always say that.
Yeah, Lady Rage was dope too. But
Lady
at,
Rage, yeah.
at the end of the day, you know, JD got the conversation started. It's everywhere now. People are talking about it. I saw a lot of female MCs post videos just blacking out. You know what I'm saying? So the conversation has started. So that's dope. We'll see where it goes from there. He tried to start some type of
we're also
cipher
in the
challenge or
age
something.
where everybody jumps out the window on everything.
Yep, I agree.
And a lot of people that are saying things aren't qualified, in my opinion, to have an opinion on it.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
everybody does now.
Everybody that, like, even back to the Bad Baby chick. Like, she's
Yeah.
been talking a lot of shit here lately about
She don't write
being
her own shit.
respected as an
At
MC.
all.
She just signed $1 million
She got on.
contract with some company a
Yeah.
couple days ago, within the last couple days, to write for songwriting or for
Which
some
is
shit.
It's
amazing.
not
Yeah.
songwriting, though, because she doesn't write shit. She got on from being a brat on a TV show
On Dr.
Yeah.
Phil.
that
Yeah.
pretty much garnered a 15-minute of fame that turned into longer
Yes,
than
it's
15
terrible.
minutes.
I agree. Yeah, it's awful.
And people fuck with her, though.
To his point, to me, those are the conversations. We obviously can have that for another topic for another day. But to his point, like that's whack.
That's a different story. Also.
Yeah,
that's
I
all
thi-
totally
that
different
that
story.
doesn't really have to do, I feel, with
But
how
I see your
females
point.
are viewed in the game.
Yeah,
But,
all
give her
that's-
time to grow. Maybe she'll turn into an artist that we like, right?
Yeah,
maybe
hey,
she ain't but
maybe.
like 17, so
Yeah,
she
she's
got plenty of
super
time.
young, man. So hopefully they like
But there's a
the industry doesn't get like its claws into her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's still
You know,
young, so she
can-
can grow. She can
I-
evolve.
I just don't think there's anything wrong with I mean the music. I mean,
Yeah,
you guys familiar with Angela Davenport? Young and Silky. She was in Rapper Chicks with Psalm 1.
I heard the name, but I'm
I
not
know
gonna
Rapper
front.
Chicks.
Yeah.
I know rapper.
She just
chicks,
dropped
yeah.
a video called Jesus, and I think it's called My Pussy Jesus.
Oh,
Wow.
But it's very,
Wow.
but you have
All
to
right.
listen. But
You have to listen to
You
it.
have to listen to the song because it's what Jay Moore speaks about. If you just watch it on mute, you're definitely going to lust over the video.
Yeah.
But if you pay attention to what she's talking about, you know, she's making a point in it. You know.
Okay.
So, but there's music for. There's all different types of dope women lyricists. We haven't even talked about Tierra Whack.
dope,
or
super dope.
No Name.
Yeah.
You know that people love.
Oh, girl with the cow song.
Yeah.
She can actually rap,
Doja
though.
Cat.
Doja
Doja
Cat.
Oh
Cat,
yeah,
No.
okay.
She can rap.
What's my girl name that had the short hair? Days Loaf. You remember her?
Right,
I don't know where.
yeah.
Not a
she had,
fan. Not gonna lie.
she had some stuff I actually liked. I ain't gonna front. I don't know what happened since then, but
Yeah.
you know, people go through waves, whatever. But
Anyway.
Well, I
J-
just-
JD has a conversation. The conversation has started. So
Look, I just think it's fantastic
up.
that we're talking about women in hip hop because for a long time there just was this void, and
facts.
because like I'm even thinking about in the late 80s, early 90s, I felt like there was really there were enough female MCs to where we were really like partners with the women. There was always a dope female spitter in the crew, whether it be, you know, Yo-Yo with Ice Cube, whether
Love
it had been
Yo-Yo. I
Moni
love
Love
Yo-Yo.
down with
Love
the Native
Yo.
Tongues and Queen Latifah in that same
Shit,
crew.
Roxanne, Shantae.
You know.
the
It's
Juice
almost
Crew.
like now, and this has been going on for a while. There's only space for one female artist. It seems
Right.
like, so they kind of start to kind of jab the other ones coming up to
Yeah.
start not messing with the other ones. Like I think Nicki Minaj had a statement she came out with a few weeks back talking about people not paying homage to her that are coming out, and how she paid homage to. She
Queen-
listed a name.
She
of
listed
people.
a whole bunch of them. Yep.
And I mean, it's because of what they're brought up in.
Right.
It's the climate is for them to only care about themselves and
Right.
pretty much down to other female MC. It seems like to me.
Well, I mean, that's to me. This all will be something that we'll be able to revisit. I want to get into some new music before we get into our list conversation. Do you have anything else
I
to
was
add
just
before we
saying,
get
no,
out?
it's not that different from a lot of dudes.
That's a fact.
And
That's a fact.
say
The
what
only
you want.
difference is like there's more dudes and more dudes get clicked up to like kind of go
To
at
work
this
with each
clique.
other.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Whereas the women are just by themselves going at each other.
It was cool to see Cardi, like Mike said,
Yeah.
Cardi B kind of like shouting out.
She's got the
some
biggest
other ones,
platform
you know.
at this point, so for
Yeah.
her to do that, I think that's dope. I want to
And
get
just
into this
to-
new music
and
real
just
quick. Go
to
ahead.
Put a cap on it. The thing is, I think sometimes I have to throw my conspiracy bag on it because right now, women are running this rap shit.
Mm-hmm.
If you were in the clubs, it's Megan got like 4 or 5 records right now.
100%.
Cash Doll, the City Girls, Cardi's had like an incredible run, and those records get the biggest response right now. So the thing is, there might be some jealous man who's trying to keep all this catty foolishness going. So I'm right now. You just got to acknowledge that the women are running this.
They
But
doing,
in reality,
they
in the
doing
caddy,
something right.
In the caddy foolishness, really just Cardi and Nicki. That's pretty much it, right?
I can't. Well, that's the thing. Nicki's ice cold right now. She needs to stop worrying about anybody else and try to figure out how to
But
get
in
some
that,
records.
that's the only like real.
Yeah, that's the really only thing. The other girls don't seem to have any problem with each other.
Yeah.
You don't ever hear them saying anything about each other.
So
Well, they running it. So you out there in the clubs in the streets, so you hear it.